Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Mike. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. His Divine Grace relates to Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya, Beauty Founder Acharya, Jaguru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Paramasa Parishara Stat Narasata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Saranta Saraswati Maharaj Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Antakoti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Seko Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadip Marpu Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulsi Marani Ki Jai. Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Yuga Dharma Harinam Sankirtanam Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Pamanande. All glories to Soma devotees. All glories to Soma devotees. All glories to Soma devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, titled Prayers by Queen Kunti and Maharaj Parikshit Saved, Text 39. Neyam sobhisyate tatra. Neyam sobhisyate tatra. Yate danim gadadhara. Yate danim gadadhara. Tvatpader ankita bhati. Tvatpader ankita bhati. Swalakshana vilakshite. Swalakshana vilakshite. Neyam sobhisyate Neyam sobhisyate tatra. Yate danim gadadhara. Tvatpader ankita bhati. Swalakshana vilakshite. Neyam sobhisyate tatra. Yate danim gadadhara. Tvatpader ankita bhati. Swalakshana vilakshite. Neyam sobhisyate tatra. Yate danim gadadhara. Tvatpader ankita bhati. Swalakshana vilakshite. Neyam sobhisyate tatra. Yate danim gadadhara. Tvatpader ankita bhati. Swalakshana vilakshite. Na, not, iyam, this land of our kingdom. Sobhisyate, will appear beautiful. Tatra, then, yata, as it is. Idanim, now. Gadadhara, O Krishna. Tvat, your. Pade, by the feet. Ankita, marked. Bhati, is dazzling. Swalakshana, your own marks. Vilakshite, by the impressions. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Gadadhara Krishna, our kingdom is now being marked by the impressions of your feet, and therefore it appears beautiful. But when you leave, it will no longer be so. Purport. There are certain particular marks on the feet of the Lord which distinguish the Lord from others. The marks of a flag, thunderbolt, an instrument to drive an elephant, umbrella, lotus, disc, etc., are on the bottom of the Lord's feet. These marks are impressed upon the soft dust of the land where the Lord traverses. The land of Hastinapur was thus marked, while Lord Shri Krishna was there with the Pandavas, and the kingdom of the Pandavas thus flourished by such auspicious signs. Kunti Devi pointed out these distinguished features and was afraid of ill luck in the absence of the Lord. Om Jnanatimrandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksurmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna everyone. Thank you for coming to Srimad Bhagavatam class today. So we continue on with the prayers of Queen Kunti. And today's verse has a short purport, so I thought we'll just read from the book Prayers by Queen Kunti, which is a compilation of Prabhupada's lectures on these verses actually, that he gave in Los Angeles. So I'll just read through that and we can just discuss points from there. Okay, so Prabhupada starts off the lecture by saying, in the Chanakya Sloka, the instructions of the great moralist Chanakya Pandit, there is a very nice verse. Prithivi bhusanam raja, narinam bhusanam pati, sarvari bhusanam chandro, vidya sarvasya bhusanam. Everything looks beautiful when one is intimately related with it. The sky, for example, becomes beautiful in relationship with the moon. The sky is always present, but on the full moon night, when the moon and stars shine brilliantly, it looks very nice. Similarly, the state looks very well if there is a good government with a good king or president. Then everyone is happy, and everything goes on well. Also, all the girls are naturally beautiful. A girl looks especially beautiful when she has a husband. Vidya sarvasya bhusanam. But if a person, however ugly, is a learned scholar, that is his beauty. Similarly, everything will look beautiful when Krishna is present. So in this verse, Kunti Mani is explaining, like she's offering different prayers, glorifying Krishna. And yesterday, Nrsimha Prabhu, he was explaining about, about pure love in separation, how, he was giving the example in Krishna book of how when the gopis, when Krishna was about to leave Vrindavan, the pangs of separation the Vrajavasis was feeling was so intense. And the gopis were trying to do anything possible to stop Krishna from leaving Vrindavan. They're trying to impede the chariot, get in Krishna's way, like that. And all the other Vrajavasis also, they were feeling so much pangs of separation. And Nrsimha Prabhu is giving the example, like Prabhupada, he gives the example of like the sun. Just like on a cold, windy day, if we stand in the sunshine, then naturally we feel very nice. It's like very cold and suddenly sunshine is there. If you stand in direct sunlight, you feel the warmth and it feels so nice, just to be in the sun. But suddenly if the cloud comes and covers over the sun, and then we feel the cold or the windiness of the winter, then immediately we think, hey, what happened to the sun? What happened to the sun? And immediately our thoughts of the sun, they become more intensified. So similarly, Prabhupada explains that love for Krishna, it becomes more intense when Krishna is apparently separate from us. When Krishna apparently is left, and when we're separated from Krishna, then that love intensifies a lot more. So that's why sometimes Krishna, to increase the love of his devotees, sometimes he comes, he gives darshan, and then he goes away. So then the devotees will hanker. So just like the example, son, that's a perfect example. Another place you can see Krishna doing this is with Dhruva Maharaj. So not Dhruva Maharaj, Narad Muni. When Narad Muni, in his previous life, when he was a little boy, son of a maidservant, his mother passes away. At the age of 5 years old, he lost his mother, and he has no one else to take care of him. And Narad Muni, he immediately understood, because he had heard from the Bhakti Vedantas, he heard Bhagavatam, he took it as the mercy of the Lord. Okay, the last attachment I had was to my mother, and now Krishna took over that attachment. Now I'm free, now I can fully focus on my devotional service. So Narad Muni went, and he was just traveling through different places, and he was meditating. And then after meditating for some time, finally he could take darshan of the Lord. And Krishna gave him darshan, and then suddenly Krishna disappeared. And then when Krishna disappeared, then Narad Muni was searching, where did he go, where did he go? And then Narad Muni was again trying to meditate. He was thinking, okay, I meditated like this, and then Krishna gave me darshan. So if I do this meditation again in the same way, Krishna will again appear. So, but he tried to meditate again in the same way, but Krishna didn't appear. And Prabhupada in the Purport explains that Krishna is supremely independent, He's not he's not subject to any rules and regulations. He only appears out of his own will. We can't, subject Krishna to, okay, if I do this, if I do that, then Krishna, you come. No, Krishna can choose to break the rules. He is supremely independent. Whatever he wants, he can do. The same rules he has made, he can break and modify also. So Narad Muni was again trying to meditate and try and see the Lord, but Krishna didn't come. But then he heard a voice, Krishna's voice. He couldn't see, but he heard Krishna's voice. And Krishna was saying, told Narad Muni that in this lifetime, you won't see me anymore. But in the you just keep practicing your devotional service, you'll be liberated, and your next lifetime, you'll be, Narad Muni, you'll be a liberated spaceman, and you'll be a liberated soul. And you'll continuously associate with me. So Prabhupada in his purports, he explains how Krishna, just to intensify the devotional service of Narad Muni, he came, just quickly gave him darshan just for us, just for like a minute, and then he quickly ran away, quickly disappeared. So because of that darshan, just a slight taste for the rest of, that time of Narad Muni's previous life, he was simply performing devotion, hankering, so he can get the darshan of the Lord. So sometime Krishna, he does this. He comes, he gives us a little taste, he gives us a little darshan, a little, like transcendent experience, and then it will go away, and then we won't feel that experience anymore. So Krishna does this out of his causeless mercy, just to give us a little experience, of higher reality, of spiritual reality. And then he disappears just to intensify our bhakti. So then we have something to aspire for. Okay, Krishna is actually there, this is actually real. So we can directly in this way perceive bhakti. So in the same way, Prabhupada explains that Krishna, just to increase the love of the gopis for him, that's why, in Krishna book you see sometimes he'll just disappear from the sight and hide. So then gopis' intense love will increase even more. Another reason the acharyas give is that Krishna wanted to show the whole world the wonderful, love that the gopis have for Krishna. So Krishna wanted to glorify the love of the gopis, so that's why he disappeared, during the rasa dance. So then the gopis, they would go mad after Krishna, and by, only if Krishna disappeared can the gopis exhibit such symptoms. And by seeing that, now the gopis are glorified all over the, all over the universe as the greatest devotees. So in the same way, Queen Kunti, she's also feeling separation. She's thinking, that all this time we had Krishna with us. Yes, we had so many troubles and tribulations put upon us by the Kauravas, but Krishna was there with us all the time. And because Krishna was there, everything was going perfectly. Our life was perfect. We were so happy and blissful. But now Krishna is about to leave. So she's feeling that pangs of separation. And Nishram Prabhu was giving the example yesterday of just like the queens of Dwarka. When they wake up in the morning and they see Krishna, Krishna's right there next to him, next to them on the bed. But they're feeling anxiety, they're feeling great pain, thinking that soon Krishna will wake up and then go away. And he has to, for the rest of the day, they won't see Krishna. Krishna will go outside and, do, all the management affairs of the kingdom, and for the rest of it, they won't be able to see Krishna. So just thinking about that soon, any moment, Krishna will get up and go away, and we won't see him for the next, 12 hours or how many hours. They're feeling such great pain and anxiety. So that's the same anxiety Queen Kunti here is feeling. She's thinking, oh, we had Krishna as our associate, we had Krishna's association for so long, but now he suddenly is going to go away. When he goes away, what will happen to us? Everything will crumble. And in today's text, he's explaining, especially explaining about the kingdom, how because their kingdom is marked by the lotus feet of Krishna, and the whole kingdom is looking very beautiful. And tomorrow's text, she'll give, I'll just read tomorrow's text, the translation. All these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance. The trees are full of fruits. The rivers are flowing. The hills are full of minerals. And the oceans full of wealth. And this is all due to your glancing over them. So she's explaining how in her kingdom everything is going so nicely, The trees are giving nice fruits, the seasons are perfect, the rivers are flowing so nicely, different minerals are being produced so nicely, abundant grains, abundant herbs. Everything is going perfectly in terms of the nature around the kingdom. And she's explaining this is all because of you. Because you're present with us in Hastinapur, all of this is going nicely. So in the purport, Prabhupada, he first starts off by explaining how there are certain marks on the lotus feet of Krishna, which are only there on the Supreme Personal God's feet. And whenever he comes, one can see these marks, and that's how one knows whether a certain personality is an incarnation of God. So that's one of the tests the Shastra gives. Another test Shastra gives is, the particular person, he has to do some superhuman activities which no one else can match. And thirdly, his appearance in the world should be prophesied in the Shastras. So if these three things, or one of these three things are, ticked, okay, then you can consider him as an incarnation God. One is that he should have some signs, on his body, which show that he's Supreme Personal God. Second, his name should be mentioned in some of the Shastras. Okay, in this yuga, this time, Krishna will descend in this form, and he'll do this, this, and that. And thirdly, he should do some wonderful, extraordinary activities. I remember one time I was listening to a lecture by Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and it's on YouTube, you can see it. He is giving a lecture in Fiji to like some university students, and during question and answers time, one I think Indian guy, he raises his hand, or Fiji Indian guy, he raises his hand, and then he asks about Sai Baba. And then Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he was like very heavy with him. Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he's using like, very simple logic. He's saying, God is supposed to be the most beautiful, right? God is supposed to be the reservoir of all opulence. He's supposed to reserve all beauty, fame, strength, renunciation, power, everything. So God is supposed to be the most beautiful. And as far as I can see, this Sai Baba, if you look at his picture, he doesn't look beautiful. He looks very ugly with his curly hair and his ugly face. You show his picture to anyone, no one will become attracted. So how is this Sai Baba God? God's supposed to be most beautiful. How can he be God? And then secondly, Tamal Krishna Maharaj is explaining, to claim to be God, you have to show some extraordinary activities, And what is the extraordinary activities this Sai Baba has done? All he does is just create some ashes, from his hand, which any yogi in India can do just by the mystic power. And then Tamal Krishna Maharaj explains, what is the value of creating ashes? What benefit will you get if I just, supposedly manifest ashes from my yogi power and just give you in your hand? What will you do with ashes? What is the value? I can just, take some piece of wood, put it in fire, and I get ashes myself. Why do I need you to get ashes? I can just do it myself. So what is the value of your mystic power? Like this Tamal Krishna Maharaj is like, very systematic, very logically, he's hammering this other guy. And he's explaining, Supreme Personal Godhead, he's supposed to have marks on his body, which indicate that he's the Supreme Lord. And as far as I can see, this Sai Baba, he has no marks on his body. And lastly, Tamal Krishna Maharaj mentioning that, his name should be mentioned somewhere in the Shastras. And nowhere from what I've read in Shastras is his name mentioned. So like this Tamal Krishna Maharaj, very systematically, he is, defeating this other guy and explaining, out of compassion that, this Sai Baba is just a cheater. So like this, in India, there's many other, persons who claim to be God or incarnation of Krishna, but very simple logic, any sane person can defeat or say, okay, he's not God, he's just an imposter. Even a child, can use this logic and answer. But the main theme in today's verse is about how in contact with Krishna, everything becomes very beautiful. And Prabhupada is quoting this verse from Chanakya Pandit in his lecture. Prabhupada is saying, just like the sky, it becomes beautiful when the moon is there. If it's like a dark moon night and the sky is just black, there's no stars, there's nothing so attractive about the sky. But, if you're like in the countryside and you can see all the stars in the sky, the galaxies, and it's like a full moon, then suddenly the sky looks, very nice and beautiful. So in the same way, Krishna is like that. If we have Krishna in the center, everything works out, everything is perfect, everything looks beautiful. And that's what Kunti Maharani is explaining, that everything in the kingdom is going fine because of Krishna's presence. And another example Chanakya Pandit gives is just like the government. If there is a good king or president who's managing all the affairs of the government, then the kingdom and the government is, glorified, and everything looks very nice in the kingdom. And a girl, although she looks naturally beautiful, she becomes especially more beautiful when she has a husband. And the last example Chanakya Pandit gives is that although a person might be externally ugly, he's still considered to be beautiful if he's very knowledgeable. So, like we hear in Krishna book, Prabhupada is explaining, like at the start of Krishna book, in the preface, Prabhupada, he gives like a very nice introduction. He explains that when someone picks up this book, Krishna book, and he looks at the cover and he reads Krishna, the Supreme Person of God, and he sees this, this guy standing in the front, naturally he wonders, who is this Krishna? So then Prabhupada, next line he explains, Krishna means the all-attractive, and Krishna is the Supreme Person of Godhead. So Prabhupada explained, Krishna means all-attractive. And then Prabhupada, next line, he explains that Krishna is all-attractive. Prabhupada explained, one is attractive, not just because of beauty. One is attractive because of beauty. Someone might be very beautiful, then they're naturally attractive. But also if someone has a lot of wealth, someone is very wealthy or rich, like Bill Gates, other, very rich person, naturally people are attracted. They want to learn more about him, They hear the news and they're curious to find what is he doing with his money, what business doing, how much money he has. So they're also attractive. People who have a lot of wealth. Also fame, people who are very famous, like a Queen or Oprah or something like that. Then people are naturally attracted to them. They want to learn more about them. They want to see them and talk to them. So they're also attracted. They're also attractive. And so we have beauty, wealth, fame, and fourthly, strength. So if someone has, very strong and powerful, someone, is like a very good sports player, or someone can lift a lot of weights, or someone is a very good boxer, or a wrestler, then actually people are attracted to the, that's physical strength they're displaying. Wow, this person's so powerful, So that also makes one very attractive. And there's two more. What are the other two? Sorry? Shri. Opulence. Isn't that wealth? Yeah. Or renunciation. Yes, if someone is very renounced, then that also attracts people. Like, Dalai Lama. People all around the world, they try to learn from him, They're very, like if someone sees a Buddhist monk, they're curious, They're impressed by them, or they want to learn more about them, How can this person just, give up working and family life and all this and just live single and just, have like a zero bank account, How can he be so renounced? So people are also attracted to saintly persons. People are attracted to people who are renounced. So in this way, Prabhupada explains that Krishna, he is usually, in the mature world, one person will only have one of these opulences. So usually someone will be very beautiful, but they won't be very, the last one is intelligence. So if someone is very intelligent, then they also become attractive. Like Albert Einstein. People are attracted to Albert Einstein. They want to learn more about him, about his theories and about his studies. People study him, they study his research and his findings. But in terms of beauty, Albert Einstein is not so beautiful. And same with Stephen Hawking, Okay, he's very intelligent, materially speaking. But in terms of beauty, he's not very beautiful. But still people are attracted to him. So usually in the mature world, Prabhupada explains, a jiva, he will have one of these opulences by the grace of Krishna, by his previous karma. He may be, very famous, or he may be very beautiful, maybe very intelligent. But no one in this mature world will have all of these opulences. No one will be beautiful, intelligent, be very strong, have a lot of money, be renounced. No one will have all 6 opulences at the same time. One may have 1 or 2, but the others will be like the Lord. And secondly, second point Prabhupada mentions, that no one can possess any of these opulences, like people can only possess these opulences to a limited extent. No one can possess unlimited beauty. No one can possess unlimited renunciation. No one can possess unlimited fame, unlimited strength, and so on. One's beauty is limited, Someone might be very beautiful, someone might be a model or a superstar or actress, but how long will their beauty last, Maybe a few decades, then when they're 30, 40, 50 years old, beauty is gone. So very limited, the beauty. Same with the fame, Someone can be very famous, but to what degree are they famous, It's not that, every single person on the whole planet knows about, a famous movie star or knows about a famous sports star. Only a certain population of the world, they know a certain celebrity. And secondly, we're not the only living beings in this entire universe. There's planet Earth, and then there's so many other planets and different locas where different other living entities exist. And we're just one small part of the universe in planet Earth. So someone might be very famous in this planet Earth, but no one knows about him, in the lower planetary systems. No one knows about him in the higher planetary system. No one knows about hellish planets. So in the same way, a mature person's fame, he might be very famous, but his fame is also limited. And only to a certain extent his fame will last. After maybe 100 years, 50 years, people forget about him. No one will even know about him. Same with strength, Obviously, this is very easy to understand. How much strength can one display? It's very limited. Max someone can lift is maybe 200 kgs or 200 kg, 300 kg. Then there's a limit to the strength. And later on, when one becomes old, the strength reduces. And when one dies, where does the strength go? It's gone. That strength that one was possessing and he was so proud of is gone. And his next life, he could be like a bird or a cockroach. Who knows, So in the same way, like this, Prabhupada explains. That in this mature world, number one, no one can possess all 6 opulences at the same time. And number two, the opulences one possesses is to a very limited extent. Very limited beauty people have, very limited fame, strength, renunciation. But Krishna, number one, he possesses all 6 opulences at the same time. And number two, Krishna possesses all 6 opulences to an infinite extent. So Krishna's beauty never dies down. He's always beautiful. He's always youthful. He never grows old. Krishna's fame never reduces. Rather, his fame increases more and more. Like with the Hare Krishna movement, every day his fame is getting increased. Every day, more and more people are hearing the holy name on the street. Every day, more and more people are getting a book. And Krishna is becoming more and more famous. And Krishna's renunciation is infinite. Bhishma Dev, he says, people glorify me to be, this great brahmachari who stayed single his whole life. But actually, Krishna, he is the real brahmachari. Krishna is the real renunciate. Because what Krishna did, I can never match, and no brahmachari can ever match. Krishna, he was alone in the middle of the forest with so many young, beautiful girls. But still, Krishna wasn't agitated. That's why Krishna is the supreme renunciate. Krishna is the supreme brahmachari. This way, Bhishma Dev glorifies Krishna. So no one can defeat Krishna in renunciation. And same with wealth. Krishna is the master, is the owner of, all the worlds, of all the mature universe of the spiritual kingdom. So who can compete with him? Lakshmi Devi herself is Krishna's consort. So who can compete with him in wealth? So in this way, Prabhupada so nicely, he explains so logically, establishes Krishna as the supreme person of Godhead in the Krishna book. So the point I was making is that, like in this verse by Chanakya Pandit, Prabhupada, Chanakya Pandit is saying that externally one might be very ugly, but still he is beautiful if he has a lot of knowledge. So one becomes attractive not just because of physical beauty. One can become attractive if he's very wealthy, or if he is very strong, or if he's very intelligent, and so on. So, and one pastime we can see, actually I was thinking of Kubja, how, we know Krishna was coming to Mathura, and he was just wandering around the city, checking things out, and then there's this hunchback lady, and she's very attracted by Krishna's beauty, and out of love, affection, she just has some sandalwood paste that usually she makes for Kamsa or the king. So she takes some sandalwood paste and then offers it to Krishna. And Krishna is very pleased by this small offering by Kubja. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Tam Yome Bhakta Prayachati Tadaham Bhakti Upahritam Asnami Pratatmana. So Prabhupada writes in the purport that Krishna in this verse, he's saying bhakti twice, just to emphasize that Krishna is just looking after bhakti. He's not after, big opulence, nothing like that. He's just after our bhakti. And out of all the things Krishna is saying, he's just saying, just give me a leaf. A leaf is, who would eat leaves? Leaves is inedible. But Krishna says, offer me a leaf water just to drive home the point that all he wants is just bhakti. And one can be, a pauper. He could have no wealth. But any person in this world can find a little water. Any person can find a leaf or a fruit and offer to Krishna. So Krishna is supremely accessible to everyone. Like in one of the previous purports, Prabhupada is explaining that of all incarnations, Krishna is the most accessible, most approachable. So because this Kubja, according to her capacity, all she had was just sandalwood paste. And she offered that with love to Krishna. And Krishna was very happy by this. And this Kubja, she was like a hunchback lady, so she was very ugly looking. So Krishna, to reciprocate with her, what he did, with his foot, he stood on her feet. He applied pressure at the bottom of her feet. And then with his hands, he grabbed her chin, and then he raised her up like that. And then she became straight again. From a hunchback lady, she became straight. And not only that, her body changed, and her body became beautiful again. And then now she was a a beautiful young lady there in Mathura. So like this, Krishna, he completely transformed Kubja. And I remember my Guru Maharaj is explaining that, Krishna is Satya Sankalpa, just by his desire, he can do anything. So he didn't have to, put his feet on her feet and push her chin up. He could just by thinking or, just by his thought, he could have just made her beautiful. So why did he have to do this? So the Acharyas explained that Krishna, in his pastime, he does two things simultaneously. First thing, in all of his pastimes, he'll act like a human being. He'll do things in a human-like way. Secondly, in all of his pastimes, he will do things in an inconceivable way. So he'll do both things simultaneously. So he'll do things in a human-like way so that we'll get attracted, So we'll have something to talk about and, us as human beings will get attracted to Krishna's pastimes. Otherwise, if Krishna just does everything just by thinking, he just sits down in one place and just thinks and just makes everything happen, just the war of Kurukshetra, he doesn't arrange for this whole battle, he just thinks and just annihilates all the war, there'll be nothing to talk about, there'll be no pastime. So that's why he does things in a human-like way. But secondly, he also does things in an inconceivable way which no one else can match. And he does that just to also show to less intelligent persons and also to remind us that actually he's Supreme Personal Godhead. Although he's doing things in a human-like way, he's not an ordinary human like us. He's actually a Supreme Personal Godhead. So if you see his pastimes, he'll do both things simultaneously. He'll do things in a human-like way, Acharyas explain. At the same time, it will be inconceivable. So him making Kubja beautiful, on one hand, he's doing it like a human, he's stepping on her feet and raising it, but at the same time, it's inconceivable. Like we ourselves, we can try doing that to someone else, but it's not going to work. So like that, Krishna did to Kubja, and now she is very beautiful. And then to, again, reciprocate with Krishna, she is asking Krishna to come to her home, and then she will satisfy him. And Krishna is a bit embarrassed. Kubja is pulling at Krishna's dhoti, and this is all happening in the public in Mathura. So Krishna is a bit embarrassed, His elder brother Balaram standing right next to him, all the other cowherd boys are there. And then here's this, beautiful young girl pulling at his dhoti. So Krishna is a bit embarrassed, and then Krishna tells her, okay, not now, later. Later I'll come, I promise. Not now, later I'll come and satisfy your desires. So later on, after Krishna kills Kamsa, and Krishna sends Uddhava to Vrindavan. After Uddhava returns from Vrindavan, Krishna takes Uddhava and then goes to Kubja's house. And reason Acharyas give is why Krishna takes Uddhava along with him is because everyone in Mathura, they know Uddhava as a man of Dharma. They know that Uddhava, he's like a very strict religious man. He is always upholding Dharma. So if Krishna takes Uddhava with him, then no one will talk. There will be no bad rumors about him going to Kubja's house. So that's why he takes Uddhava with him to Kubja's house. And when Kubja sees Krishna, naturally she's very happy, and she invites Krishna into a house. And she has like many girlfriends along with her, and they all receive Krishna nicely, and they offer a seat to Krishna and Uddhava. Krishna, he takes a seat, and Uddhava, because he's thinking himself as a servant of Krishna, he doesn't sit down on the seat. He just touches the seat and then just sits on the floor, showing that, okay, he's the master, I'm the servant, I'll just sit on the floor. And then Kubja, she invites and takes Krishna to the inner chambers of her house. And it's mentioned she's decorated the house in different ways just to excite the senses of a man. So my Guru Maharaj, I was hearing one lecture, he was explaining how externally this seems, just like a mature situation. Like how you see in, Bollywood or Hollywood movies, when guy and girl, they're going into a house together. But actually it's not like that. Because, like I was mentioned before, Krishna will do things in a human-like way, but at the same time, it will be inconceivable. It will be something which no one else can match. So externally it looks like, Krishna is just acting like an ordinary man. But Krishna is not coming to Kubja's house just to satisfy himself, because he's Atma Rama, he's self-satisfied. He doesn't need another living being to satisfy him. And he already has, he's served by thousands and millions of gods of fortune, so why does he need Kubja? The only reason, Bhagavatam explains, Krishna came back to Kubja was to help her advance in Krishna consciousness. Because Kubja, although she was a devotee of Krishna, she had mature desires, because her desire was that she was attracted by Krishna's beauty, but she wanted to enjoy Krishna. She wanted to use Krishna to satisfy her senses. And that's not pure devotion. Pure devotion is when we use our senses to serve Krishna's senses, when we use our senses for the pleasure of Krishna. And that's the mood of the Brajavasi, of mood of gopis. But Kubja, her mood was different. She was attracted by Krishna's beauty. She was seeing Krishna as a very beautiful, young boy. And she wanted to satisfy her material desire, her lust, using Krishna. But still, Krishna appreciated her devotion, appreciated that she was attracted to him. That's why Bhagavatam explains, Kama sarva kama moksha va udaradi tibrena bhakti yogena yajita purusham param. That whether one has mature desires, has no desires, or is desired liberation, we should all worship Krishna. So someone might have, many, many mature desires, very lusty, many, many mature desires. Still, one should encourage him to come and worship Krishna. And someone can be Atma Rama, like a pure devotee. Okay, he comes and worship Krishna. Or someone may be a jnani. He just wants to get out of this, suffering, a material world, and wants liberation, wants to merge in Brahman. Still, they should also come and worship Krishna. So no matter what class or category you fall in, everyone should come and worship Krishna. It's all auspicious. So Krishna, he didn't, neglect Kubja, thinking, oh, okay, she has this mature desire. She wants to use me to satisfy her desires. So, why should I come? Why should I, come to her house? No, Krishna instead, he wanted to reciprocate with her. And Krishna's business to coming back to her house was to help her advance in Krishna consciousness by cleansing her heart from all these mature desires. That's why Kubja, she goes and takes a shower and gets ready, gets dressed. And then when she comes towards Krishna, Krishna grabs her by the hand, pulls her towards him. And then when Kubja comes close to Krishna, she smells the transcendental fragrance from Krishna's lotus feet. And just by smelling the transcendental fragrance from Krishna's lotus feet, all those lusty desires that she had in her heart to satisfy using Krishna, all of them got dissipated, all of them got cleansed, and then she became a pure devotee. So this was actually Krishna's business coming back to Kubja's house. Although externally it seems, just like a movie scene, Krishna's coming to enjoy with her. But, if we read Bhagavatam, if we read the Shastras clearly from Acharyas, they explain that Krishna is Atma Rama. Why does he need to satisfy someone using her? The only reason he came back was to help Kubja advance more in Krishna consciousness by mitigating her mature desires, by mitigating her lust. And the same thing we see with Dhruva Maharaj. At the start, when Dhruva Maharaj, he was doing his tapasya, he was not doing it out of pure devotion, he was doing it out of mature desires. He was worshipping Vishnu to get a kingdom greater than Lord Brahma. And he was doing devotional service to get revenge. So these are pretty big, mature desires. Getting big opulence, getting a big kingdom greater than Lord Brahma, which is impossible. Getting revenge against someone. These are, maturely speaking, pretty big mature desires. But still, Krishna, he overlooked those mature desires. And he purified Dhruva Maharaj and made him into a pure devotee. Krishna just saw the good in Dhruva Maharaj. He saw, okay, he has these mature desires. But, he's just a 5-year-old boy. Naturally, a 5-year-old boy, he will have, desires like this. And secondly, although he has these small mature desires, he's following the instructions of his guru. He's following the instructions of my pure devotee Narad Muni. So because he's following the instructions of my pure devotee Narad Muni, let me bless him. So that's why Krishna, he gave Dhruva Maharaj darshan and he cleansed his heart. And that's why, Dhruva Maharaj, when he sees the Lord, he recites those famous prayers saying, my dear Lord, I was looking for broken pieces of glass, but now that I've seen you, I found a diamond. So in this way, Krishna, no matter, what category you fall in, whether we have a lot of mature desires, we have no mature desires, with desires for liberation, Bhagavatam explains, no matter what consciousness you have, you should all come and worship Krishna. So what level you are, and it's all good for you. And that's why we see with Kubja, that Krishna purified her, although she had mature desires, Krishna purified Dhruva Maharaj. And this is actually the real beauty. The real beauty is not physical beauty. The real beauty is Krishna consciousness. This is the real beauty of the soul. So one who is Krishna conscious, he becomes the most attractive actually. That's why, in that, there's like one nice song, Sad Goswastikam, explaining, glorifying the 6 Goswamis. In the, I think, first verse, the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, they glorified by saying that the 6 Goswamis are loved and appreciated by everyone, by both the gentle and the non-gentle. So both by the rogues and the thieves and the devotees, by everyone. So the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, especially Sanatana Goswami, especially he's given an example, that everyone in Vrindavan, they loved them. Whether they were devotees or not devotees, they got along well with everyone. So that's the nature of devotee. Because of his wonderful transcendental qualities, he's friendly with everyone. He's friends with everyone. Everyone loves him. He has no enemies. Everyone appreciates his qualities, whether they're devotees or not. And the reason he's so attractive is because he's carrying Krishna in his heart. And this is what really makes him attractive. So in the same way, the real benediction Krishna gave to Kubja is not that he made her physically very beautiful, but the real benediction Krishna gave to Kubja was that he purified her heart from all material desires and made her Krishna conscious. So, and I remember one purport, Prabhupada also explains that a Krishna conscious person, he is like, just by the smile of a Krishna conscious person, like a pure devotee, just by smiling, he wins thousands and thousands of disciples. He wins thousands and thousands of admirers, just by smiling. So one can say, how is that? Just by one person smiling, he can win so many admirers and followers. It's because of his, because he's a pure devotee, Krishna is his heart, so naturally attracts. And you can get an idea of this just thinking of a Guru Maharaj, or just thinking of Prabhupada. Just to get a smile from Prabhupada, just to see a smile from your spiritual master, you'll do anything, right? Just to please your Guru Maharaj, just to see your Guru Maharaj smile at you and appreciate you, that'll be like the perfection of life. And for a materialist, if he sees this, he'll think, are you crazy? Just one person smiling at you, what's the big deal, Why is that so important? But on a spiritual level, that's like the greatest benefit, The greatest achievement is just to please the spiritual master. Because when we please the spiritual master, when we please the pure devout Lord, we please Krishna. And when we please Krishna, what more else is there to achieve? That's the highest perfection. You please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, okay, I'll stop here. We're just on time. And tomorrow Kunti Maharaj will explain more about how, because of Krishna's presence, everything is going so nicely in the kingdom. So we can use these certain sections of Kunti's prayers to meditate how everything in our life is going so nicely and perfectly by Krishna's arrangement. We can use these verses to meditate, how everything, in our life is being arranged by Krishna's mercy. That's what Queen Kunti is saying. Like in yesterday's verse, she's saying, the name and fame of the material body is finished with the disappearance of the living spirit. Similarly, if you do not look upon us, all our name and activities, along with the Pandavas, will end at once. And before that, I think there was one verse where she was explaining that how it's only because of Krishna everything is going nicely in the kingdom. And like Nishyan Prabhu was explaining Arjuna, after Krishna disappeared, Arjuna was giving different examples. That I was able to defeat Lord Shiva because Krishna, you were there with me. I was able to defeat the Kauravas because Krishna was on my side. I was able to go to the heavenly planets, defeat Indra because of Krishna. I was able to do this because of Krishna. I was able to do that with Krishna. So in the same way, just as Queen Kunti and Arjuna, they're remembering how Krishna helped them so much in their lives, we can also meditate, and think how through our life, how Krishna has helped us, how we were struggling in material existence before as a karmi, and how Krishna brought us into Krishna consciousness, how Krishna has made so many nice arrangements for us. In this way, if we meditate on this, we can develop some gratitude and appreciation for Krishna's mercy. So Radhanath Maharaj explains that first comes gratitude, appreciation, and from gratitude comes humility. And then after humility comes compassion. So everything starts with gratitude and appreciation. And we can develop that by meditating, just thinking, how Krishna arranged everything so nicely. Just 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I was doing this, I was such a sinful personality. And Krishna arranged me to meet this devotee, he arranged this for me, arranged that for me. Wow, then if you meditate, you think, wow, like, so nicely Krishna arranged everything for me, he did this for me, did that for me. Then when we meditate on this, naturally we feel, that love for Krishna will come out. And that's what Queen Kunti is feeling. She's meditating. In our life, when the Pandavas, my children were small, Bhima was getting poisoned and Krishna saved him. Then later on, we were in this house set on fire, Krishna saved us. She's thinking, she's remembering all the past incidents. How at every step Krishna helped them. And by remembering that, her love is coming out for Krishna. Okay, we'll stop here. Gantra Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai. Joguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Tagore Pramanande.